sickness is a great way to experience an alteration of consciousness. It is, by far the most natural and the most maddening because you're sick, but can be some of the most beautiful because your body is repairing itself. And depending on the sickness, right, it can be extreme or it can be mild. I had sort of a event when I was probably a very young teen, a nice sickness experience where as I was going to sleep, it was one of the few times where the voices were really, really clear as I was going down. And they were not pleasant. So it kind of set the stage of these beings or entities that had some ill motives. They didn't feel good. And it's possibly just that I did not feel good too. So I was sick, right? So as they were speaking to me, I was just like, I do not want to hear what you people, things, whatever you are, have to say. And there was a slight terror in that. But as I did that, as I forced and blocked those voices down, lying in bed, I started to travel down into a very deep state, trance state, and I entered a visionary space. This space was interesting because I felt like I had entered it before in the dream state, and I recognized it pretty quickly, and I was pretty, hazy lucid into it, and I knew the fabric of the space was a projection, but I knew the space was very real. So in the other times I had experienced it in the dream states, they had been either like circuit boards, or they had been mazes, or they had been almost like the video game Frogger in some ways. There's this sort of like you're jumping across these objects that are moving. So I was moving my awareness through these obstacles. And they were not thinking kind of obstacles. It was just pure energetic, moving it through beyond the thoughts. And after a while and after a struggle, there became very clearly, I came to two doors. And at that point, those two doors, I was there and I was like, knew I had to make a decision. Being like, man, this is pretty intense. And there's these two doors here. And then the feeling that came over me was these doors are probably the two most important doors that anyone can ever open. Not just your life, but the whole entire fabric of the universe's life. And the continuation of this connection of life and energy lies beyond these doors. And you must choose. Pretty heavy trip, right? And so okay, I'm just going to go for this door. I don't remember which door it was, but I went through this door. And as I was going through that door, everything started to explode. It was like things were exploding, ripping away, flying out. And it completely utter terrified me. And I had the sense that I had chosen the wrong door because I was destroying everything. And I scrambled back to some state of consciousness, trying to find my body and just be like recoiling from that utter annihilation. And I found my body in the kitchen, on a table in the kitchen, being like, that's odd. I thought I was in my bedroom. So I get up and I walk down to my bedroom and I go back into my bed to go lie down and I see my body there. And so, that was quite odd itself. So I just I guess I should go back into my body. And so at that point, I went back down into my body. That event, in some ways, really, I think, set the stage in my psyche of, now I can kind of look at it and be like, well, that was sort of an ego death experience, but I didn't have the tools or the language to understand that's what was happening. And that, much later, when I had these, started experimenting with psychedelics, I going through these states, it was very healing for me to, I have had experiences where I've come to those doors, and I I've come back to those exact same doors, and I made the right choice by allowing the destruction of everything, joyfully being like, great, the world is going to explode, and there's this whole other thing that's happening behind here. I can't take my consciousness through this wall. This is a beautiful thing, and by doing that was a amazingly healing thing, and I think I reconnected, my soul. I brought those pieces back from my soul that were sort of fractured at the time because I didn't have that complete process.